All right, and we're live. Looks like everything's good to go. I'm going to be moving our role-playing 101 discussions to Tuesday because I've had some scheduling changes, so, it is what it is. That's why I always say my schedule is tentative, because it's subject to change as things change. All right, so welcome to Role-Playing 101, where my co-host and I like to chat about the gaming hobby, things we see in it, and discussions other people are having about it. So let's get right to it. All right. Recruitment and how difficult it seems to be to find players who stay in touch and communicate their wants and needs. There seems to be a lot of fudging going on, and also a lot of outright lying. People saying they want platonic adventures and then becoming upset when no ERP occurs. People who say they're open to LGBTQ+, and then deny all homosexual characters. People who say they're open to any plot or setting, then ghost or block you from the conversation completely. We hear a lot of folks say Session Zero solves a lot of these problems. They don't. People constantly lie and fudge details about their characters and intentions, and because of that, the games wind up fizzling or not happening at all. It would be so much easier to recruit players if players were actually honest about what they want from the game. You want smut? You want human-only NPCs? You want a world where only humans are dominant? You have to specify that stuff, otherwise you're bound to be very surprised and upset when my custom worlds and campaigns have none of those things. So, hey Moth, welcome. So, you just have to be clear. I know we say this a lot, you have to communicate, you have to be clear, but it's really important. If you're not honest about what you want from the game, then you're never really going to find what you're looking for, because you're just hoping it's going to magically have what you want, and that's just no way to go about joining games. The GMs are there for a reason. We're here to, answer your questions and let you know what's going on and, what the game's about, what will be in the game, what won't be in the game. We can tell you these things, but you have to ask the questions. Which leads me into the next topic, is really just a brief reminder to ask lots of questions, about the game setting, about the character variants, about the most pertinent lore. The more you ask, the more I know a player is engaged and actually wants to be a part of the story, so it also makes it a lot easier to find them a place to fit in the plot. Now here we go, Phantom. For example, ran into a DM who said they would happily build a campaign and a whole party for them. Sounded too good to be true, and then asked you a lot of questions and they blocked you. Yeah, no, that sounds about right, and that's really, really unfortunate. What was the point? That almost feels like minor trolling. What is even the point of that? I mean, I find trolling a huge waste of time anyway. There's just so many other things I could be doing with my time that's better than minorly trolling someone on the internet. So it just makes me wonder what those people are doing. But this is weird behavior because we both get blocked quite frequently, and usually we've said one or two things. We've said one or two things, and then we get ghosted or they block us, and it's like, I didn't even really get to the complexity of the plot. Maybe it was to steal inspiration, but it just seems like there wasn't that's that's the thing that seems more likely to me, to laugh at people's hopes and dreams. Yeah, exactly. To build up their expectations and then just crush them. That's why I say that almost sounds like trolling. That almost sounds like trolling, to go through that whole process and then ghost you. But I've been in situations like that where I've been in a really good conversation with somebody, and we're going back and forth talking about how we're going to build the world, and what's going to be in it, and then we basically get to the point where all right, are we ready to start? Do you want me to do the intro? And then I never hear from them. I literally they just ghost the conversation, and I can try and ask them and be like, hey, you still there? Are you still interested? And I will get no response. Weeks will go by and I'll get no response. And they'll be online. They'll be active in other role plays. You can see this stuff. It's a little hard to hide. So yeah, it's just weird. It's like, okay, so why did you even discuss this with me? What was the point? What? We got so far. Yeah, the writing sample. Okay, with the writing sample stuff, That makes more sense to me. That makes more sense to me. I mean, it doesn't, like, make total sense, and I don't like it, but I just mean it makes sense to me because there's a lot of people that think certain vocabulary counts as white supremacy. Like, this is literally a belief. Like, if you use lots of words, if you're verbose, that must mean you're a white supremacist. Because only white supremacists have advanced vocabulary, apparently, according to these people. You know? So, yeah, if you're decent at writing at all, they're gonna say you're flexing, even though you're just, writing. So, and there used to be a lot of that back in the day when people would discuss the role plays and then get into one, and then somebody would post an intro, and then they would get blocked. 2 paragraphs is probably more than most people write, fam. Like, I would stand a wager, that that's how I feel about it too, Like, I consider 1 to 3 paragraphs to be pretty, manageable. But, yeah, I think other people think that's a lot, because the average roleplay posts you see out there are what, like a sentence or 3? Like, not a lot of people give more than that. Well, yeah, but I'm usually a GM or a storyteller, so I've got a lot of stuff going on, There's a lot of stuff I'm controlling. gives me an easy way to fill things out. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems weird that it's still happening, but now it's like happening on a wider scale, So it's not even like the novella. It used to be the novella writers, Yeah, sentence or 3 is usually what people's posts are, So it's like, I think 2 paragraphs, they're like, oh my god, what are you trying to do, write a novel? It's like, wow, dude, that's not even like... 2 paragraphs is the perfect post, in my opinion, because it gives you have 1 paragraph of reaction and 1 paragraph of action. That's great. It lets me know, like, how you responded to the thing that just happened, and now you're giving me a new action that I then get to respond to. That's perfect in my eyes. And it used to be considered pretty short, Advanced novella was 5+ paragraphs, So if people think 2 paragraphs is novella, I just don't even, I don't even, I don't know how to translate that. Alright. So, the open gaming license thing in Wizards of the Coast. I don't really have much to say about it. I'm just, reiterating what's going on. Part of me thinks this whole thing is like some sort of scandal-angled publicity stunt to get people talking about D&D, because when OnlyFans said that they were going to nix all adult content and then they started losing their content creators, they sort of did a really quick 180 and said, no, we're not going to do that. So I have a feeling Wizards is entering like a similar situation here. They're making a move that's going to ultimately hurt them by causing backlash with the fan base, and they'll be forced to revoke and overturn. So in the end, I don't know, what's the profit margin? I don't know, it seems weird. One has to wonder. I think it's just going to get overturned, if it's not overturned already. But honestly, as a storyteller and a fan of World of Darkness, I really couldn't be happier. Like, please, go ahead and abandon D&D. Come over to World of Darkness or Pathfinder, or hell, go pick up Fate or Paranoia or GURPS or any other of the bazillion games and settings that you can explore. D&D was never, nor will it ever be, the end-all of gaming. That would be like saying, Final Fantasy is the only video game worth a shit. So I don't agree with that either. There's always something else. There's always other options. As with soda brands and anything else, everyone has their favorite, but a multitude more exist. So, quit being a weenie. Try something new. It's not just Coke or Pepsi. There's all kinds of stuff out there. So go explore. Go explore and find something fun. There's never just one thing. Never. You know, and that's what's great about it. There's the variance. You know, I wouldn't play video games if there weren't so many different genres out there. If it was just one genre, I'd get really bored. You know, but that's just me. I like choices. I like variation. And I love things that are colorful and open and sandboxy. So if people want to start making stuff that's more like that, I'm totally into that. So we shall see. Okay, this was a thing that I like recently kind of came to a realization that people don't know this. The difference between character progression and character development, and how you can't really have one without the other, because if you do, what you're playing is essentially a video game with little to no story and just a bunch of hack and slash. And now if you're a hack and slash fan, by all means, run and play a hack and slash game, but if you want to roleplay and develop your character, hack and slash games will never give you the content you need to achieve that. That requires the player to actually have a background, some family, some friends, some sort of motivation, and for the GM to provide plot that lures them towards their personal growth. Cowards, you know, usually want to become stronger and braver. Dumb folks want to get smarter. You know, those that question who and what they are need to be shown the possibilities. So, and yeah, those are all Wizard of Oz references, but the principle stands. Character needs a goal and ambition to be able to eventually grow. And as much as you progress your character, that will never actually equate to development. Development takes a whole lot more. It's the role-playing aspect of the tabletop RPG. So, in summation, if all you do is level your character, then yes, they will progress, but they will not actually develop as a person. So, and I think that's the part that a lot of people are missing. They want to level their character, they want to get experience, they want to, you know, get them new abilities, new spells, whatever, what have you, but they forget that they're supposed to be developing their character, as a person. You know, they're not just a bunch of numbers on a sheet. Your character's a person, you know, who came from something, a family or a situation, and now they have something that drives them forward. Otherwise, you just have characters that are visiting dungeons over and over and over again with no real plot direction or like chance at character growth. You know, if the characters aren't given choices to make, there's going to be like one aspect of the plot, you know, and that's never what my goal is when I'm running a game. I want there to be many aspects of the plot. I want the characters to have lots of choices in where they can go, how they can progress, what NPCs they can ally with, and how that will influence the story over time. So that's why I'm, you know, running games, because I love seeing the things that people come up with. I like seeing the decisions they make. I like seeing, you know, if they're going to be self-serving and survivalistic, or are they going to be chivalrous and self-sacrificing, or are they going to be the person that's aiding the villain, you know? There's all these sides to the story, and I feel that players should be able to explore them all, you know, without being told that, you know, there's only one aspect of the story and that's all we're going to do. I don't know, that seems kind of boring to me. Again, I like choices, I like variation, but that's me, you know? And I would love to see more people doing, you know, more interesting things, but yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, exactly. Even if character development is detrimental to the world at large, because it sometimes can be. There's definitely times where, yeah, well, you know, you can't guess where a story is going to go. You just can't, not really. Not if you're letting it play out the way that it intends to be played out. Like, if you have a script and you're following a script, then I don't know, because I don't do that. I have never really in my life followed a role-playing script. I just have NPCs that are functional people. They have their own goals. They have things they're doing. And as the characters go through the story and go about their own business, they meet these people and they have chances to, like I said, make alliances or enemies of them. And you know, we go from there. And there's never any, you know, set script like for like what the characters would say, because it wouldn't really make any sense, because every situation is unique. Every time I run a game, I usually switch up the NPCs some, and I usually switch up their motivations a little bit, just to make it interesting. So it's not the same thing every time. It's, because that's what I want. That's what I want from a game. I want a game's plot that constantly changes so that I play that game again with a different character. There's a total chance it can go a completely different way. That's what I want games to be able to do. So when I feel like I'm being funneled, towards a plot like situation and I don't really have a choice in where to go, it just kind of bums me out. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No set scripts, and then the options can always get worse. Yeah, exactly. That's because I like giving people options, and there's plenty of ways that you can screw yourself over sometimes. So, it's fun. That's what I like. Not everybody's gonna like the same thing. Everybody's got their own idea of what role-playing should be. I just think there should be, some emphasis on the role-playing, the playing of a role. That's just my thoughts on the matter. That's really all I've got written for today. Pretty short episode. Not much to talk about. Just the few things that we've seen, some discussions that we've seen, some comments that I saw on Reddit that, made me realize, people didn't know the difference between character progression and character development. And that seems to really be a thing. So hopefully more people will make that realization that there's a huge difference between those things, and hopefully people will be more communicative. We'll see. I would really love for people to be more honest about the games they're looking for and the things they're looking for in those games. Please tell me you want smut. Please tell me. I can then tell you you're not going to get what you want. Yeah, and that's another thing. People not making characters on time. That's, the first 48. I still firmly believe in the first 48 rule. It doesn't just apply to crime. It applies to role-playing. If the people don't make characters within the first 48 hours of joining the game, they probably never will. And even if they do, it would be like a month later, so it's like, all right, well, is this going to be how active you are? Are you going to make like one in-game post a month? Because like our activity clearly says there's this many days, that you can be inactive. And, but then that brings us back to the whole thing of people not reading game outlines and how we saw that horror story about people just not reading content or any of the rules, or not even caring to look that the thing is homebrew, and then they want to come in and bring a bunch of 5e characters, and the GM has to be like, no, this isn't a 5e game. It clearly says that in the info. I don't know why you joined my game thinking that it was. Yeah, exactly. And if you're not interested in the game, back out so we can recruit someone who is interested, because it's so easy for people to I talk about this with my life partner all the time. They don't understand. They're like, why can't people tell you that they're not interested anymore? I'm like, I don't know. Nervousness, anxiety, self-consciousness. I don't know what it is. Some weird pathology. But people have a really hard time with admitting to you once they join your game that, hey, I've read through your info and your setting lore, and I don't think it's really for me, so I'm going to go ahead and leave. I would kill to have people tell me that, because that doesn't break my heart at all. It's like, fine, that's no big deal, dude. My game's not to your taste. That's not a big thing. Good luck elsewhere. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for leaving my game in a timely fashion so that I can then go and keep recruiting, because sometimes the game is sort of on pause while people are being recruited. Like, we literally put the game sort of on pause so that it stays where it is, because we have it somewhere where it will be really easy to introduce new characters. So when people take forever to make their characters, or they don't tell us that they're not interested, and so we just sit around thinking they're going to make a character, it holds up the game. It holds up the game, and, so it's just kind of, I wish more people were aware of that. That's how that works with the play-by-post games. Like, we're usually waiting for you to finish your character so you can jump in, because we have the plot at a place where it's good to jump in, Whereas if I keep running everyone's threads while these people are sitting around making their characters, that opportunity might pass. That opportunity might just go right out the window, and we might see ourselves in a really, huge dilemma plot-wise, and then it's going to be really hard to introduce new characters. So, we recruit when we recruit because we have an opportunity in the plot to put you in. But if you delay us, if you make it so that, like, I get tired of waiting and I start posting for people's threads and my players are, active like they usually are, that plot point's going to pass. That plot point's going to pass, and you're going to have to wait for the next one. And I never know how long that's going to be, because we never know what the situation is, how it's going to evolve, where it's going to go. I have my two very active players in that game, and then my co-GM, Phantom, and so it moves fast. When it's moving, when everyone's active, it moves quick, because that's not that many people, and that's not that many threads, and I'm usually trying to get them in the same thread together. So, it's just kind of a bummer when you're waiting around for other people, and it takes them forever to make characters, because we've seen this in just so many of our games. Yeah. Yeah, what can I say? I'm pretty polite and professional. I'm not here to make people feel bad about themselves. I just want people to be more communicative, I feel like it's so easy to be communicative, to say, like, hey, something came up, it's going to be a couple weeks before I can make a character. I'd be like, hey, no problem. Thanks for letting me know. But this has been issues in, like, so many games of ours, and there's been so many games of ours where the plot just comes screeching to a halt, and we have to wait for, the time allotment that I have set up to remove people, and then finally remove them. And so, you get a little frustrated when you get stagnated on your plot, waiting for these other people to either post their characters, or even post if they have their characters posted already. Sometimes they just can't keep up with the activity requirement, which these days on my games is usually like 3 to 5 days. You have 3 to 5 days to make a post on a play-by-post game, so I don't know. With my other games, they're live, so we're literally sitting around a digital table, posting constantly. So with those, I don't have to worry. Exactly. Sometimes they make a character and then they never make a post, and that to me is the most bizarre thing. Like, so bizarre that you would come in and actually go through the effort and the work of making a character and then never post. No, it is. It's aggravating, because sometimes we like those characters. Sometimes we read those characters and we're like, hey, this concept is actually kind of cool. I can't wait to see how it plays out. And then it never does. And it's just disappointing. It's aggravating, but for me, it's just more disappointing. I'm just like, man, I was really looking forward to seeing that in play, and now they're just ghosting. It's like, dude, just let us know that you're busy, or just let us know that you don't have interest, or, I don't know, just let us know. It seems like it should be an easy thing. Just let us know. Oh well. It's been a pretty good discussion. I realize this has been kind of short, but that's really all I have. And, I'm sure we'll encounter more stuff during the week, but, I'm trying to get my schedule in order. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to be doing at what time, but we'll see. Like, the only thing set in stone really is, like, my Mage game, because that happens every week. If someone can't make it, then we'll postpone, but it'll happen the following week for sure. So, yeah, nice having the discussion. Nice for you to join me, Phantom. Nice for Moss to come and say hi. That's always nice. Hopefully we'll have some more interesting topics next time. Hopefully we'll have some new topics. We keep seeming to touch upon the same ones, but, we'll figure it out. People will figure it out. Or maybe we'll just learn that,